Good evening, everyone. My name is Carlia Swanson. I am Miss Lynchburg, and I'm super excited to be back with another artist series. And I'm just so excited about this wonderful singer, songwriter, musician that we have today. My good sis and friend, Jasmine Copeland.
Hi. Hey,
Hi,
sis.
Jasmine.
I'm so
Thanks for
excited.
being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, Jasmine. So I want you to take me all the way back and tell me, how did you get your start in music?
Okay, my start in music was, I guess, in church. My mom was like, I was always singing growing up. And then church, they hear you sing, they're going to be like, scoot you on up. So I started with that, and then literally any situation where someone needed a singer. As I got older, it was just like that's how I got the Instagram name Jazz Will Sing, because my family would just volunteer like, oh, Jazz can do it. She can sing. She'll sing for you. So if it was a wedding, a funeral, anything, a church service, like it just started like that. And then middle school and high school, just being in choir and just keeping it up. So.
Wow, Jasmine, that's great. So we got that in common. We started singing in church. And, some of the greatest singers come from the church. So, what are some lessons you think that singers, musicians gain from singing in church?
One of the biggest, I'll be honest, is flexibility as an artist, because you're really everything is based off of when they need you in the service, or there's been times singing in church where it's like, okay, you're gonna do this one selection, the pastor's like, no, keep it going, so it's like having to go keep keep the service going with that, or like if you're leading and they're like, all right, we need some more songs, so just being flexible, that was one of the biggest lessons. And then just being able to being passionate about what you're doing and putting yourself into it, because I believe, like, especially singing gospel, it's hard to do it well if you're not feeling it, if you're not relating. So bringing that aspect into performing.
That's very true. In church, they're like, the mic not work, the musicians might not know the song. All of these conditions are happening. It's still like, you got to do it. You got to do it for the Lord. And that's
Yeah.
so true what you say, because I don't know, when I think about some of those great singers like Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, even though they're not necessarily singing gospel music, or that's not the music that they're known for, you can still feel that connection that they have
Right.
um, to the genre. So those are some of my favorite singers. But who were some of your musical influences?
I love Whitney Houston. I feel like she's one of everyone's favorite. I love Shaka Khan. Amy Winehouse is one of my favorites as well. Who else? Those are like my top three female singers, I think.
Those
I
are
love Money, but as a songwriter and singer. But yeah, of the greats, those are my three favorites.
those are some good grace. Okay, so you're from the 757,
Yes.
and there's some extraordinary talent that comes from there. So how would you say being from that area of Virginia affected your creative process?
Definitely, I love Pharrell. He's one of my favorites. Just all around artist, and just seeing his growth, like being here, like everyone knew of Pharrell, like when he started out, and everyone's like, oh, he's producing for this person, that person. But I remember growing up, like hearing him, and people be like, oh, like that's Pharrell. He's doing some weird stuff. Like it was different from like a lot of the sounds that people were used to at the time in mainstream. And I think that's helped me to be more open, because I come from a place with Pharrell, with Missy, people who are really original and creative. So really pushing those boundaries and allowing myself to be myself, because that's what our area has created.
That's so true. Virginia, it doesn't get the credit it deserves for its like creativity and really pushing the music industry
Yeah.
forward. So you mentioned that you did music in high school. So what was your experience with music in high school, and ultimately how did you decide to major in music?
So in high school, I was in choir all 4 years in chorus. I made it to state twice. I only attended once, but I made it to all state chorus twice. And so Yeah, those experiences, it was fun. I remember when I did go to state my junior year, just the experience of like that community of making music with people from all over the state, from different backgrounds, and us all spending these days together just to put out beautiful music. And that really pushed me. Early on, I wanted to do music because I was like, if I'm going to do anything, like it has to be with my passion. And I was going to do music ed. I was like, ooh, child, I don't know. I don't know if I could do, if I could teach, but yeah, after that experience, that solidified it for me. And I was like, I definitely want to study music in college because that experience just like blew me away.
Wow. That's so true. That's what, Jasmine, you're the reason I started Music is Unity. Because I feel like a large part of music is not only like being the soloist, but it's like the groups that you get to be a part of. Like how we were in the Mason Jazz Vocal Ensemble, being able to make music together and that feeling that you get from being able to share that love for music. So, talking about music school, what is something that was unexpected when you arrived in music school?
I knew it was gonna be work, like obviously, but it's like you see all like the frills of like, oh, we're gonna perform, but the time and dedication as a music student really took me aback because I'm used to hearing everyone else in college who was like, oh, I just go study and do this, and it's like we got these long classes, we're in Friday classes, we got rehearsals on top of that. Like I was really taken aback about the amount of time I was going to have to dedicate in class, in studio to build as a musician. So I think that really got me because I thought I was just going to be like, ooh, it's college and I'm going to sing a little bit. And they were like, girl, we're getting to work.
I thought I was going to school to take like Superstar 101, and then they're like music theory, oral skills, 9 o'clock. Oh, and these classes are only 1 credit.
Yes, but it's going to take up your entire day. The stress, your whole week is taken up preparing for that one credit class. And yeah, we need to work on that. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
Think music is an easy major. They really don't realize like all the hours that you put into it. So, what would you say are some of the benefits of music school?
The benefits, it's quite a bit. Just the building you all around as a musician, like you were saying, like, oh, I'm gonna take Superstar 101. I think that's all we want to just like hop right into it, but building it so that you're a well-rounded musician, like you know your theory, you're exposed to different areas of music to really figure yourself out. I know it helped me to be like, what am I really into? So that was a great benefit because honestly, I wasn't raised listening to a lot of different stuff like that. So it helped broaden my horizons. And then the dedication of the professors to have good experiences. I know working with Darden Purcell, we had opportunities to sing at like Blues Alley, things that a lot of people don't get to do as college students. So having those experiences were really beneficial to my, not just me as like an artist, but as a person to have those experiences.
Yeah. I agree with that as a, like you said, as a person, because I think before music school, I think I tried hard at things, but then I think music school just took that to another level, like the discipline, like having
Yeah.
to do things over and over until I get them because it's due tomorrow and there's really no
Right.
choice. Um, yeah, music school has a lot of great benefits, and I think being a singer, I think the greatest thing I learned was how to pick my keys. Like I can go somewhere and be like, it's a little too high. Bring me down to B flat now. Don't do that.
Exactly. I had never known because I would just get music and be like, I might just bring it down the octave, but we can sing that. But now being able to be like, can I get an F? Like, can we do this in a F? Can we move this around? Knowing that was a great point.
Yeah, okay, good. Music school is great. So sometimes, but tell me, how did you start developing your own artistry, your own creative processes?
That's good. I think just like I think for me, it really started in college. Um, so I was in the music tech program. So like being around people who were like producers and everything, like being exposed to that and then being like, oh, you should try this. Or even back home, I had friends who like rapped. So watching them, and then they would just call me in and be like, "Hey, Jazz, could you like sing this hook for me?" But actually, just being in a session with them kind of helped me build myself as an artist. Um, and then from there, it was just like, okay, I saw how they did it, and it was like, okay, I not taking it so seriously. I think so. Watching other people, because I'm like, okay, now I'm in music school. Like I had this thing of like I had to do this a certain way, but then like being exposed to people who are like not going to school for this and just having fun with it. And so I just really started to sit down, like people sending me beats or me finding things. That's really how it started with me, just like writing to different stuff. I would like write to like beats are already out to kind of like make my own covers. And then from there I was like, okay, now I'm connected with people who can like produce for me and like work on different tracks and just keeping that up. And that's how I'm gonna been keeping it going.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, Jasmine, I don't know this. We've never talked about this. So what is your songwriting process like? Do you start with a little melody or do you start with a story? How does it work for you?
Okay, so I remember in high school we used to do like what they call like free writing sessions, and so you have like time writings. That's what it was. And so it's like here's a topic, go, and it's just like right off your head. That's kind of how my songwriting process is. So I'll go through like producers, like their what they have available, or like go on YouTube, find a beat, and I'm like, okay, if I play it enough and it sticks, I'll just keep looping that. And then it usually starts, I'll just start if a line comes in my head, okay, that sticks. And I kind of build off of that one line. It's usually just like one or two lines, and I just kind of build around that, and just make myself kind of free write, like not think about it so much, but just jotting stuff down until the song is done.
Well, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna take that, Jasmine.
It's really helpful, and it helps you not to like restrict yourself to feel like, oh, like I need to figure out this, like I need to think about the verse, the chorus. It's just like, no, just build off of what you instinctively feel it comes to you.
Wow, that's great. So you're a singer, but you also major in music technology. So how would you say that affects the way you hear, like far as like mixing or the way you like your voice to sound? How would you say that affects that part?
It's really helped me a lot, and that's one of the main reasons why I pursued a music tech the program, because I want to not be, for lack of a better way to put it, like an ignorant singer to like what was happening. Like I want to be able to go into sessions or get on stage and be like, hey, I need to sound like this. I need you to change this, touch that. I want to be able to kind of command the session. And so it's really helped me a lot to be like, okay, when people would try to like suggest, try this, I'm like, my voice doesn't do that. Or like, I know on the track that this isn't gonna sound well, it's not gonna mesh well. So really just helped me to command the station so I can be like, okay, I know the sound I'm going for. Or even if we're sitting in a mixing session, being like, hey, there's something off with this track a little bit, like something's a little off. And to be like, I think at this section, a little bit more reverb. Let's open up the room so I know that my voice can, sound bigger. And with each session, still, even with the degree, it's like I'm still learning with the different engineers that I work with.
Wow, that's great, Jasmine. It's so important for singers to be able to tell people exactly what they want. That's amazing, Jasmine. So how did you get to Blossom, the EP?
So, oh, it's gonna be a little personal moment. So that EP, it was just something that kind of came along after a low period as an artist. I honestly went into this slump that I didn't feel like an artist anymore, because I'm like, I'm not writing, I'm not performing. It had been like 2 years since I released a song, and it just I wasn't feeling it anymore. And I was just like, life wasn't life in the way I had expected it to. And so after going through kind of like an isolation period. Like I wasn't outside as much. Like things just took different turns than I expected. So a producer that I like got like a free beat from had like reached out and was like, hey, if you work with some of my stuff, like send it to me so I can hear what you've been doing. And so I sent him the track, and he was like, oh, listen, let's work on a project together, like choose some beats, get a little discount, like, and work on it. So I chose some beats from there, and I just started writing what I felt like I was talking about my writing process. I was like, I would get little hooks from there, and it just started being open, and that's why I called it Blossom, because Jasmine is a flower and Blossom is an opening up. And so with this project, I wanted to speak about what was true to me, not just like generic, like, lovey-dovey little situationships and stuff, but actually being like, this is what I've been going through. These are my experiences, and just showing Jasmine to the world.
Wow, that's great, Jasmine. I didn't even think about Jasmine as a flower and as blossoming. I love the whole concept and the idea. Wow, that's
Cute.
great. Like our greatest, like our moments of pain, like they turn into the greatest art, like
Yeah.
Blossom. So, what would you say is your favorite song off the EP?
My favorite, just because I've worked with it more now, it's probably Let's Have a Good Night. It's the one I had the music video for. So that's become like my baby, because I've had a few little engagements to do. So that's usually the one I choose, and it's the one that people resonate with. And so what the listeners like, I kind of feed off of that. And I'm like, wow, because I was a little hesitant about that one, but I was like, it's a lot we can do with it. So that's
I
probably my
love,
favorite
I
track.
love it. It's great.
Thank you, sis.
So speaking of Let's Have a Good Night, I was going to ask you about that. So you have the music video. What was that process like? You had your little acting on your Angela Bassett in the film. So, so what was that process like?
So that was a lot of fun. I was super nervous to do it, because I remember I was like, okay, I want to do a music video finally, and everyone was like, okay, this should be the one. So I was like, all right. And so I went to Instagram and searched hashtags for videographers. I found the videographer Coley through hashtags up there, because I was like, okay, I like his style. And then we started communicating about like the concept, and he was really cool. But I was so nervous going into it. I'm like, girl, I just sing. Like, I just kind of show up. And so I didn't really know how to like bring myself out. So that was an experience. And shout out to Vic, who did choreography. He's an alum from GMU as well. Because I was like, I wanted to add some choreography. So having good connections and a good tribe of people to help and just kind of help me open up a bit throughout the day of shooting. It really helped me like get comfortable, because when we first met, I was like, I'm nervous, and it was like visible. But as time went on, I kind of like got my vibe, and then I did it back in the 757, because I knew I feel more comfortable at home, like the places that I know and spaces that I'm comfortable in.
That's great, Jasmine. It really looks great. And we can tell you were in your vibe. That's great. So
Yeah.
tell me, what was something that unexpected about that process? So that was your first music video. What was something that shocked you?
What shocked me? Oof. I guess just how much you have to put to it in the background. Like, I thought it was just gonna be like the camera's gonna start, and I'm just gonna be like, boom, and it's gonna work. No, it was not like that. It was a lot of prep, a long night in the studio, dance studio, working on choreography, and then drilling myself for like a week up to it, getting there, and then once again getting in front of the camera and being like, oh, now I have to perform. So that was probably the biggest shocker and thing I didn't expect, because I thought it was like, oh, well, come on, and I got this. So it was like, it's gonna take a little bit to warm up.
Hmm. That's great, Jasmine in the dance studio. Okay, so now I have some fun questions for you.
All right.
So SWV or Escape? Which one? Which one now? Which one?
I'm gonna do Escape, just because I love Who Can I Run To. That's like one of my favorite songs. So
I feel like they got more hits. Like,
yeah,
I think that's the thing. Okay, I like that one. Okay, Instagram or TikTok?
I don't even have a TikTok, so Instagram.
All right. Good one. Battle of the American Idols. Fantasia or Jennifer Hudson?
Gonna have to go with Jennifer Hudson.
Why? I have to ask why.
I mean, she's just I just love her as a vocalist. She has like a amazing power voice, and then her performance in Dreamgirls. I mean, come
That's true. You gotta the Oscar winner, the EGOT herself. Okay, I think I know the answer to this one, or maybe not. Okay, Queen Naija or Summer Walker?
Hmm, that's hard, actually. I was not expecting that to be
The
the.
pair.
To me, I'll say Queen Naija because vocally, I prefer her sound.
Yeah, I like her too.
Summer's I like Summer's writing, but we're gonna go with we're gonna go with Queen Naija because I like her tone. Yeah,
I like that one. Okay, what is your favorite thing to splurge on?
shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like sneakers, so I might like skimp on other stuff. But I'm like, I gotta have nice shoes because you can't be out here with like whack shoes or like your feet hurting. So
Not the wax shoes. Okay.
I like brands when it comes to shoes. So I'm like, I need to invest in my feet. You know?
That's important. You've been walking for the Lord a long time. You gotta keep here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a big basketball fan. How do you feel about the Heat losing last night?
I'm all right with it because I'm going for the Celtics. So I
Okay,
don't know how Miss Miami feels about that right now. Since
I'm alright.
you're
I'm perfectly fine. Okay, what would you say is your favorite basketball team?
favorite basketball team, I would go with the Lakers. I'll go with the Lakers.
That's a good one, Kobe. Okay,
Yeah.
Jasmine. That was all my questions. So anything you want to share with the people? Any advice you have for aspiring artists, music students? What would you tell the people?
Any advice to music students? Keep going. Even if oral skills is kicking your butt, please keep going. It's gonna work out. It's worth it. When you're sitting somewhere, you need to find pitch. It helps a lot. But no, do not let don't let how much work it really takes, like we're talking about, like discourage you. It's very much worth it, especially if that's your passion. That's what you want to do, and not just for you, but you want to help other artists in the future. Definitely keep it up. To aspiring artists, just do it. Like it's fun being an artist. You get to share yourself with people in a creative way. You meet so many amazing people, you know. So it's it's great, and I just think just go for it. Just do it how you want to do it, and being yourself. Personally, I say keep God first, trusting Him with that path of how you want to do it, but just go for it.
Well, Jasmine, that was great advice. Keep the Lord first and go for it. Thank you, Jasmine, for being here on the Artist Series. I had a
Thank
great time.
you.
Again, everybody, this is Jasmine Copeland. Jazz will sing, and
Yes.
we'll be back next week with another Artist Series. Bye, Jasmine.
Bye.